Hello, welcome. I'm Scotty, and this is Scotty's Toy Box. I want to talk to everyone today about progressive nation, particularly this particular nation. We are a progressive nation. The most of the people in this country want progressive ideas. They want progressive things, standards. Now, there are a few who don't. Not everybody's the same. But all the polls show, when asked, do you think we should have health care? Most people say, yeah, we better have health care. We need it. How about should people be treated fairly? Yeah, I believe in that too. You go right down the list. Now, even same sex marriage is a majority of the population believes in. Things change over time. But the fact is that we have a small, very, very vocal minority that is holding this country back, that is getting their way. And I don't understand how this is happening. I really don't. On this other monitor, I just watched video, several of them as a matter of fact, taken from the Huntsville, Alabama demonstration for immigrant families. That's a demonstration of people who think we should keep children and their parents together, their guardians together, when they come to this country to seek asylum. Now, is that really a controversial idea? But several protesters showed up. One of them, a guy carrying a sign, and he's shouting out when the Episcopal preacher is trying to give grace. Now, I'm an atheist, but even I don't stand up and interrupt when they're giving grace. I have a modicum of, I have some dignity, I have some respect for myself and for others. And this guy, he's walking in front of them yelling, womp womp. Like that's some kind of really great argument. All it was an insult. Remember, we had this talk on civility. But this minority doesn't want to be civil. This minority wants to be as obnoxious as possible. And when they're like that, I do not agree in not calling them on it. They should be called. We should stand up to them. And protesters here did. He shoved a protester, the protester shoved back and knocked him down. That's perfectly acceptable to me. He started the problem. He was being the disagreeable, uncivil individual, not the protester who was defending themselves. But what happened next shows you just how dangerous this population has become, this small minority that wants to rule through intimidation. The guy who was running around chanting and shouting womp womp and making a spectacle, trying to interrupt the preacher giving grace, trying to shut down this legal demonstration, pulled a gun. Now think about that. In the land of mass shootings, he pulled a gun. People were scared. Some people hit the ground. Luckily, some didn't back up from him at all. I guess they believed what they were doing was important enough. Keeping children from being in cages was important enough to stand up to an idiot with a gun. The man tried to get away, but the police had been called and he was arrested. But that brought me back to this idea that I keep trying to focus on. We are a progressive country. When it came to the healthcare debate, we wanted healthcare and we barely managed to keep some of the ACA. 3 million more people voted for Hillary Clinton than did T. Rump. Now, that electoral college kind of bit us in the butt. Its whole job was to keep somebody like Trump from getting to be president. But the fact is, we are a progressive country. Even in the heartland where they say it's deep red and that, if you talk about ideas, people don't want regressive ideas. They don't want to go back to slavery. The majority. They don't believe in discrimination. The majority. They don't believe in having theocracies in religion, their particular religion, ruling the country. They're progressive. But they have been told that those things that they believe are not progressive. And they've been told the devil himself happens if they don't vote Republican or whatever. And they're constantly harangued by that small minority. Rush Limbaugh used to brag that he had such a big audience in that. And when people tried to figure out if his numbers were true, they found out they weren't. The only one reporting those numbers was Rush Limbaugh. These people like to think they're a lot bigger and more powerful than they are. And the only reason they are powerful today is that the progressives are letting them be powerful. Look at that election in New York, where the candidate ran on extremely progressive things. I mean, let's think about it. Some of those things I'm progressive and I'm not sure I'd support. But I like the push. I like the goal of going in those directions. Like the abolishment of ICE. Well, it's a simple statement, but let's look at it this way. Could we repurpose that into a much better department, a much better functioning government entity? Do we need to, ICE wasn't always around. It wasn't always called ICE. I think it was the Immigration Enforcement Division or something like that. We could go to that. I forget exactly what the name was, and it's not important. The important thing is what she said when she was called on the carpet about how she was too extreme. The candidate who won said, look, in a solidly progressive district, we should be shooting for the moon, not trying to go backwards. If you're in a district that the people do not support that, know the level. You're there to represent them and to help them. But know the true level of support. Don't go by these people that want to pretend that this... Two people protesting at this event. One of them was the problem. And that one person wanted to make it seem like he represented everybody on his side. And he did not. Now, should every candidate be held to the same, I'm going to take us to the moon and back, say, or I'm going to, let's be honest about it. There was something said there, government jobs for everybody. No, I don't believe in government jobs for everybody. But I do believe in getting people jobs. I do believe in a basic subsistence income for people who cannot work for one reason or another. There is no reason people in the richest country in the world, the country with so much going for it, have to be in poverty and destitution and worried about their life. They should have food, the basics, the security, the shelter. And I'm not talking, these stupid laws where people go, oh, well, they're going to buy lobster and steak with that. Well, sometimes a person needs a lobster or a steak. Not me personally, I don't like lobster. I'm allergic to it. It'd kill me. But my whole point is these people, I had a friend who got $40 a month in food stamps to live on. He couldn't work. There was no way he could work. $40 a month. Ron and I helped cover his food costs because otherwise the man was going to starve to death. Stop and think about it. Is that the country you want? No, this is a progressive country. We have proven it time and time again. So don't let that vocal minority be the vocal ones. Get out there. Talk about what you want. Talk about it on YouTube. Talk about it on your blogs. Write about it everywhere. Do a Twitter on it. Tell people that you are part of the majority, which is progressive, which is of calling for progressive ideas. We will move this country, but only if we stand up to that vocal minority. So do it today. Do what I'm doing. I don't have a speech prepared. I just came out to say I know what I have seen, and that has been shown that we are a progressive country, and I'm not going to stand still and be shouted down by a minority. Thank you. This has been Scotty From Scotty's Toy Box, wishing you all the best. Much love. Hugs.